You are listening to Wicked Psychotherapists, a podcast where two psychotherapists show you that taking care of and learning about mental health doesn't have to be wicked hard.
Hey guys, this is Tanya.
Hi, this is Erin, and welcome to Wicked Psychotherapist.
Yeah, we're going back to 1998 with The Wedding Singer. This was a pretty well received movie at the time. This was probably one of his uh, more like well known comedies. I think. I think people really liked this when it was out in like movie theaters. Way back when in the 90s. It feels weird to say like out in the movie theaters because now we kind of look at him in different eras. What Where do you think he was kinda at in this movie in terms of, like, his maturity, his, like, how he presents himself as a character in this movie? 'Cause he's still in classic Adam, but he's maybe transitioning a little bit, right?
Yeah. Well, I feel like it was a little better than some of the ones where, like, oh my gosh, if there's, like immature middle school humor. I felt like this one was in a mix of his anger of, like he was kind of like Bobby Boucher angry. He was like a little bit of Happy Gilmore angry, but then it was like he was very sweet and he always shows up as a good friend. So I felt like he was a lot more mature than past, like than early day Adam Sandler, even though this is, well, I guess it's not super early because it was 97. Or 98. I keep forgetting that it wasn't actually in the 80s because the movie is like 1984, 1985. I think he was more mature. I think it was I like the I like the humor and the stupidness, but I felt like it was a little more mature in some aspects.
I think so too. I think he was still kinda had that classic, I don't know, maybe goofy humor, but yeah, he was a little more advanced and more regulated, maybe emotionally regulated, even
Yeah.
though he
Yeah.
definitely has points where he's not in this movie. But I think it's understandable given what he
Yeah,
went
his
through.
heart was broken. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, no, some of the my favorite moments from this movie were when I love the opening scene where he's he's at someone's wedding and he's just performing and he's also, with Steve Buscemi, who we love, gives a toast as, like, the train wreck brother, and he's drunk, and
Mhm.
Adam kinda makes a repair but I can see how you guys look at each other towards the couple and everything and kind of makes things better even though Steve Buscemi talks about, like, some past unsavory events that the groom was
Yeah.
involved in with him. Um
Right.
so he kinda, like, repairs and really gives them a good experience. You can see that he's genuinely cares about love and other people, and, you can see his heart there, and I really love that and how he's just singing, and it's him singing, and he has a pretty decent voice, I think. Um, yeah, and I just I love that, and then I also love that kind of comparatively to when his heart is broken by Linda, who leaves him at the altar, and he's just singing so angrily, and he's just so angsty and mad,
Mhm.
and he's basically just at one point turns to the bride and groom at a different wedding and is like, "I hate you," you know? It's just and it's just like he's so, like, emotionally raw, you could just see it, like, it's almost like a child, it's very much like he just wears his
Yeah.
emotions on his sleeve, um, but I really think that I don't know what it is about that era of him where he is just so sweet and kind, but then when he's hurt, he just erupts with this utter
Mhm.
anger that just is so physically palpable. It cracks me up. I don't know what it is because you can just see his sensitivity in that, but like he also does
Right.
it in such a hilarious way. He's
Mhm.
he's a very he always plays a lot of sensitive characters, like
Yeah.
that you realize it's not him just being completely immature. He's just like not really able to handle some of the hurt and
And his emotions are so big. So either
yeah.
way, when he first breaks up or when he doesn't break up, when he gets left at the altar, he's in his room crying, listen to The Cure, Boys Don't Cry, and he's just like just really sad. He's like so he's in it. And then he gets when he's angry, he's so angry. And when he's happy, he's so happy. Like so he's just has all the emotions and he's not afraid to
Yeah.
share them or show them.
Yeah. I think that's really a common theme, and it sort of evolves in different movies for him, and maybe is done in different ways in his later or most recent movies. But there's just always such an Adam style in there. I don't know, that just is really, really great. I just love seeing that in
Mhm.
his movies. Um, yeah, and I mean, I think overall in this movie, he's definitely transitioning from, it was like 1998, even though I know it was set in like the 80s.
Mhm.
But it's almost like his stages of development. He's kind of getting a little more
Yeah.
regulated, but he still has that humor and
Yeah.
working
And I
through it
think
in that way.
this was before the Happy Madison, before his whatever it is, like took off because I think he didn't produce this or he was a actor. That I think that was it. And maybe he had suggestions of his friends because of course Steve Buscemi and there's a couple other people that we recognize from Adam's other movies.
The gang, yeah, the gang. Some of the gang is there. I like how the limo driver, how he is like, she's like, "Oh, like, why are you making him go through this?" Julia, Drew Barrymore's character. And he's like, it's just for fun," and he's, like, having him, like, pretending like he's timing him and, like, has to get the groom and the
Right.
bride in the car, and there's always a little bit of, like, mischief in him that he needs to
Mhm.
always kind of show with his friends. He likes to prank his friends a little bit, and they like to prank him. Um, that's a common theme, I think, with him, so that was good to see him, but,
Yeah.
yeah, I think we really see in his character Robbie Hart, which is that fits, like, Hart,
Mm.
like, he's got, a good heart,
Yeah.
but he, like, accepts meatballs as payments from this little old lady who's so cute, and, like, he's genuinely a decent person. He believes in people. He's a true romantic, and we start to see that, well, Linda obviously is not. She leaves him at the altar
Right.
and doesn't really seem to care about him.
Mhm.
She liked an older version of him when he was, like, cool playing in a band as opposed to, like, a wedding singer, so she kinda
Yeah.
was basing it more on, like, what like, a version of success sort of in
Yeah,
her
she
mind.
probably liked the '80s hair band Robbie, showing up.
Yeah, that was kinda, like, cooler and, like, all the girls were probably liking him, and she felt kind of like she got the prize in that, but now as a wedding singer, she's probably there's not so much of that anymore, so,
Mhm.
um and then we see Julia's character, she's also with someone and she's also very kind of pure and innocent, but I guess, fiancé, Glenn,
Mm.
is just a total jerk. He's like a bonds investor, he cheats on her constantly, he doesn't really care to commit to her, he's kinda checking out girls. He just seems lame and, I don't know, just like a
Yeah, he
jerk.
wants he wants to look like he's, like, looking like Don Johnson in Miami Vice. Stack it,
Uh,
look.
the white bright white, like, suit combination. There were there were people, I mean, I don't know if it was just characters on TV, I didn't know any personally, but I just remember a lot of people idolizing that look. Um,
Yeah, I remember it. I remember people actually wearing it when I was in middle school, like, trying to which is so stupid, like, when you think of it, like, in school, dressing with, like, a white blazer and a T-shirt.
that is pretty crazy as a middle schooler, yeah.
Yeah. The
I don't
jeans
think the middle
and
schoolers now would, like, emulate
yeah.
somebody like that. It's so weird how times change. But, yeah, so he's not a great person. And you kind of know from the start, like, oh, wow, these two, Julia and Robbie, are very kind people and they're both with jerks, and um, probably going to end up together,
Yeah.
which of course they
Yeah,
do.
because my son was I was gonna say my son was watching it with me, my daughter watched the tail end, but within the first 5 seconds, because he loves all the Hallmark movies and stuff, so he's like, "Okay, I know
He knows the
the
pattern.
theme." Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, "They're gonna get married." He's like, "I bet at the very end there's gonna be a wedding and it's gonna be them." I'm like, "I don't know." She nailed it. Like
Yep. Yep. And hence why I don't like rom-coms. I don't think this is a rom-com, but it had that pattern to it. I just don't like the
Right.
predictability of things like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
It just
Yeah, but it wasn't like a Hallmark one. There wasn't a tree farm to save, but there
no,
was
no. It wasn't like a cheesy plot. It was funny and it was
Mhm. It was cute, and,
interesting.
I'm jumping ahead, and again, spoilers, but I love I
I
love,
think we're good 27,
yeah,
28 years out. We're
yeah,
good.
I think my favorite was just, like, the plane. I loved how everybody was so invested in his story, and then, like, when he's like, "Wait a minute, I think that's Julia that they're I think that's her stupid husband or fiancé that they're describing," and Billy Idol. It's like everyone is just so it's just so fun, so 80s.
What a great symbol of the 80s, Billy Idol.
Yeah, he is the 80s.
He really is, like, the frosted hair and the swiggin' champagne, like, punk rock, London
Yeah,
punk rock, and yeah, he's really on his side, and everybody yeah, that's another Adam pattern, is that he always has, like, a group of friends that are his comrades that help him that are, like, his consultation group, because
yeah.
he's very endearing, and I think people want
Mhm,
to help him. They see his side of things. They see him as very down to earth and
yeah,
good. Yeah, so that was really nice, and,
yeah, and I wonder
um
if that's also, like, an internal conflict too because, Robbie or Adam's characters, like, they sometimes they know the answer to things. So, like, Robbie knew, like, I love this girl and I know the right thing, but it's like almost like he had to express it and talk about it to really know like I this is what I need to do. This is who I need to choose and this is why and they're like, "Yeah, this is what, like and who knows if they even helped him write the song or they encouraged him or here he is with Billy Idol's guitar walking down to like the other side of the plane. I thought it was just really really great that he has been walked on, with his past relationship and other people and, even, people that he does weddings for and everything, but now he's like, "I'm doing something for myself. I'm gonna show this girl that I love her."
yeah, and I think that kind of inherently shows his trust in people, even though he's been hurt. I think he still wants to trust other people's opinions. He kinda needs that feedback, and you have to have kind of a trust in that in people, that people are
Yeah,
inherently are going to understand you and give you good advice. So
yeah,
it just does definitely points to his character and who he is as a person.
mhm,
But, um, Julia, on the other hand, you see from her, doesn't wanna hurt people, really believes in her fiancé.
mhm,
But I think she just sees the good in him and maybe just doesn't really
mhm,
see the bad side. Maybe I would say is kinda naive.
yeah,
But,
uh,
some people see that as, like,
yeah,
kind-hearted, but I think I see that as a little bit of both,
yeah.
maybe.
Well, and I think hers is a self-esteem thing too because it seems like she has a lot of pressure from her mom. Her mom has like, "Oh, well, you wanna be with him because, like, look at how much money he's making. Because even when I think she mentioned something about, like, Robbie or something, then, make her mom makes a joke like, "Oh, blah, 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 wedding singer," or, like, so I think they were engaged for, like, 7 years, or it was a long time.
Some crazy amount of time, yeah.
And, it's and you could tell Julia is asking, she's talking to her cousin, she's talking to her mom, like, she really knows the answer of, "This is not the right guy." But something whether it's the expectation or it's her self-esteem or something is making her stay with him. So I don't know if she's as dopey as she lets people think she is, because she's probably just frozen too. Like, ah, this
That's
is
true.
this is what I know. This is what I've been doing. This is how my relationship has been for the past 7 years.
Yeah, like, this is how I know love to be and, like, maybe kinda yeah, some expectations and kinda feeling like, "Oh, maybe things will change after we're together, like, if we get married." I
Hmm.
think she kinda has that, like, romantic
Yeah, it's magic.
perspective.
Yeah,
Yeah, kind of magical thinking sort of thing, and
yeah.
thinking like, "Oh, once we're settled down, things will be okay," and again, I think there's a lot of projection of her own good traits in there and probably, yeah, self-esteem issues, and probably her mom is, yeah, very
Hmm.
kinda overbearing, so maybe she doesn't really have a lot of trust in her own decisions. Um, it seems like they both see other people for who they are, and they can care
Hmm.
about other
Yeah,
people, but it's hard for them to see
yeah.
themselves, both of them. Um
Do you know what I was just thinking? Like, Robbie and Julia's, their people in their life are so opposite of them. Like, so Julia's cousin is obsessed with Madonna. She's very, like, loose and just kind of, like, fun party girl. And same with Robbie's best friend, like, the limo driver. He's just kind of, like, crazy partier, likes to just, hook up with people or whatever, but they both are, like, probably lonely, both of the cousin and the best friend. And but it's interesting, both Robbie and Julia are kinda sweet, and they're just looking for the love, like, true love. And so it's interesting that their counterparts seem different, or are experience life a lot differently than them.
Yeah, and I think that that's a that's really kind of, like, helps to highlight kinda their differences, but also how they accept other people. And there is one point, I think, where Robbie is talking to the best friend, and he's like, "I'm actually not happy," and, um, I think Robbie's kind because he's like, "Oh, I'm just gonna be like you. I'm just gonna be with a different chick every night," kinda thing, and he's
Yeah,
like, I'm not, like, happy doing that," and it's almost like
yeah,
Holly too, the cousin, is just kinda doing what they know, right? Like, people
yeah,
kind of stay in these patterns, not because they're great for them, but maybe because it's what they know and what's
yeah.
comfortable and kind of what's even expected of them. Because
Mhm.
with Holly, who's Christine Taylor, Ben Stiller's
Ben
wife,
Stiller's
just
wife,
another
yeah.
connection. She like, a lot of like, she's kinda teased for being kind of, I guess promiscuous is what they're trying to say, um, you know, and saying, like, she's with a lot of guys, so she gets that, like, enforced on her a lot. At a couple points, I was kinda like, "Okay," like, that's kinda too much, and I know that was kind of the
The
times or
point.
whatever, but
Yeah,
it just was like, "Alright, so what?" She likes to you guys all do it too, but, it was kind of the
mhm,
the female double standard in there.
yeah,
Um, the fact that she's kinda boxed into that as, like, the promiscuous one, even though she's, probably not super happy doing that, and
mhm,
maybe just kinda that's how she knows, or maybe she's just having fun.
yeah. Well, and
Um
and you mentioned too, like, the best friend, how Robbie was saying, like, "Oh, yeah, man, like, I wanna be like you, not care, just this and this," and when he did say, like, "I'm not happy," that seemed like very almost like a pivotal moment too, because he's like, "Oh, wait, I have this best friend who I known for so long, but do I really know?" And I thought it was interesting too that the best friend is kind of sharing, like, almost like a deeper part of himself, because he's always tries to be kind of like, "Oh yeah, I'm fun. I'm just whatever, go with the flow." But it's like, "No, I'm not happy. I'm hurting too."
Mm, yeah. Yeah, and you can kinda see some human elements to that, it's not all just fun and games, even though that's probably what he presents, right? That it's just like, "Oh,
Yeah.
it's so much fun," but he's just kinda going with it, yeah.
Yeah.
And probably maybe doesn't know how to connect with people on a even if he wanted that, like, he probably
Mhm.
stays away from that.
Yeah.
Again, I know we're overly analyzing this. This is
Is this a
probably
movie? Is this real life?
we're just like
Um,
analyzing the crap out of it. But no, it is interesting though. Yeah, that really is. Yeah, good
yeah.
point. Yeah. Yeah, and I really, I think it's interesting just a sign of the times that it's set in the 80s and that there is such an emphasis on like what is success because that was a time for material wealth where it was like starting to really generate, kind of the yuppie culture as they called it, where
Mhm.
it's and Glenn really fits that mold of like, a bond investor and like working with money, even though his job, if you take it out of context, it doesn't really do anything for the world. It's not like great. And Robbie's, wedding singer career and teaching career maybe doesn't pay very much, but he brings a lot of value to people's lives and he makes them happy.
Mhm.
And um, so I really kind of like that juxtaposition too. In the 80s, it was very materialistic and very much like this is success. And I'm not saying it isn't still somewhat, people still don't judge that,
Mhm.
but I think there's a little more of like a variety of people understanding what is like fulfillment, what is success, and
Yeah.
seeing people not just
Mhm.
defining how much money they make as success.
Yeah.
Um, because Robbie is I mean, he's really good at being a wedding singer and being
Mhm.
a host and also almost providing a little bit of therapy, kind of
Yeah.
as a like the host
Yeah.
of the
Yeah, I mean,
wedding
he was able
parties.
to talk, he was able to talk Steve Buscemi's dad and everyone down, because they probably all were very angry with him for his, wedding toast, but,
I'm worth something too. I'm
Steve
worth
Buscemi.
more.
Yeah.
I'm the better guy.
And I love too, like, when Robbie takes the mic and then you see Steve Buscemi's character still wandering on stage, he's
It's
so
just like
good. I just
pacing in
love him.
anger.
I just love him so much. He's so funny. He's
He
probably just, like,
is.
such a funny person. Yeah,
He's just so
yeah.
goofy. He just fits those parts so well. It just
Yeah.
perfect. Yeah. Um, I actually rewatched that part like a couple of times because he just cracked me up. Um, I'm sure most people have seen it, or if you haven't, of course, go see it. And we realize it's almost 3 decades old,
Yeah. Well,
which
maybe
is
it'll be
scary to
like it
think.
seems like everyone's getting really excited about anniversaries of things, so
Hmm.
maybe people will be like, "Oh, it's coming up." Well, in a while,
Yeah,
a little bit, but
and who knows? There's been some sequels in Adam Sandler's movies, but
Mhm.
um, no, this was, I think, a really great representation of understanding who you are, the value of what you give to other people, and recognizing that you
Mhm.
deserve it as well. And really seeing that it's okay to be, a kind-hearted, good person who just wants to be with one person and maybe wants to do whatever it is that they love doing as a career, and doing what they're kind of made
Mhm.
to do, what they were born to do, and being happy with that. I
Yeah.
know that's very cliche. A lot of people have used those themes, but it's just this is done with
Yeah.
Adam style, so we love it.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, and also it's so often people don't find what they want or what they were meant to be on this earth, like that's
mhm.
our goal, right? To figure it out or to keep switching careers until we know like, oh wait, I'm not happy here. So it sounds like he did that early on. Like he might have been like then this metal band, whatever, hair band when he was younger. Then he was like, you know what, let me transition to being a wedding singer and also teach people to sing and do other things on the side, and that makes them happy. And I also liked so you have that, but you also have these people who work for the banquet hall or whatever, and I like that it's not just like, "Oh, I'm just working here because it's, all I have." It seemed like they actually enjoyed working there and they had a little community. So you have the limo driver and the waitresses and the, kitchen people. Like it seemed like everybody actually liked their job and liked each other too, which
Yeah,
is unusual, and it was nice to show that not just like, "Oh, we're the people who get paid less, so we're unhappy, but it actually seemed like, no, we actually look forward to seeing each other, which is how it really is in a lot of jobs where it's like, yeah, there's ways to find fun, even if you might not love what you're doing all the time.
Yeah, and not trying to discount the people that really get treated like crap and have really low paying jobs and, that really it's hard to find that, but it seems like they were able to in this. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, that they
Yeah.
because, Julia was very much like, "Oh, I'm gonna be at your wedding," to Robbie when she first meets him, like, she seemed I think that is another aspect of it is just finding, um, who you are and, kind of
Mhm.
how that defines you, and, I mean, Robbie was getting paid in meatballs from the little old lady, which I thought
Yeah.
was adorable, and she was when she didn't have any Tupperware, she's like, "Put your hands out, put your hands out." She's like, "I love watching you eat them. Go ahead, and I love watching you enjoy."
And then she's like then she puts her hands on his hands to hold him, and then they're, like, all smushed. Oh, it's so gross.
Oh my gosh. I wonder how that came about. She was like, "I don't have any money, but wanna try these meatballs here."
Let's let's
Like this kid
barter. Let's yeah, that's probably what it was. It was probably
that
like,
is super cute.
how can we
And then
work
when she
together
goes up
on
on
this?
stage at the end and she does sing and then she starts to rap, she's
Hip
so
hop,
cute.
dop. Yeah, the little her little rap.
I love her little voice and everything, but I love how and he seems to genuinely care about her too, Rosie, I think her name was, the older
Yeah, I think
lady,
so. For her anniversary, he wants to help her, like and she seems to love him too, like where, like when they're talking about his wedding and everything, and she's like, I know you're gonna have true love too, and you're just gonna be so happy, and this will be you in 50 years. And so
yeah.
people wanted good things to happen for him.
She says something like, "You're just like your father," so it sounds like she knew his parents at some point, and it's kinda interesting because he lost his parents at, like, 10, I guess. I guess he was, like,
Yeah.
orphaned at 10, and that's another thing that maybe made him really want, like, a family, like, like a
Mhm.
wife and, like, maybe he was really attracted to that 'cause he probably
Yeah.
never he didn't really
Well, and
have it.
that's what his sister says in one thing. Like his sister says, yeah, since he was, like what did she say, like in fourth grade or something like that, he's wanted to get married and he's always wanted like to create his own family. Like so he's been like a romantic since the parents died, like, just wanting that. And I don't know if that was his way of processing the grief and just like, okay, well, I lost my family and now my sister's raising me. But, like I want to have what my parents had.
Yeah, yeah, and I think he kind of emulates that in this older woman, he sees they've been together for 50 years
Mhm.
and he's just like, "Wow, I want that." Yeah, it's like a way of him having that because he didn't really have it for too long.
Yeah.
I mean, only, if your
Mhm.
parents die at 10, you probably don't remember much,
Yeah.
but yeah, I definitely think this is one of my up there movies for Adam. I did
Yeah.
really I found myself
Good.
laughing a lot at it,
Good.
which
We were worried when we were watching it. We being my kids and stuff. Like we were like, okay, how's Tanya gonna feel about this? Because it could be considered a rom com, and we know you don't like
yeah,
rom
I
coms.
hate
So
those. Yeah. No, this definitely
it's
I mean, there were some elements of it, but I think it was more of a comedy. I can definitely
it was a
oversee
comedy with
past it.
romance, not yeah, like it's not the type of like how to lose a guy in 10 days or whatever that is. Like it's not one of those stupid.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I loved the music in the movie. I loved all the 80s music that was playing throughout the
Yeah,
movie.
that was good. Yeah, anytime there's 80s music, we love it, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I thought that was fun,
And
and
Adam wrote the, like, really angsty song that he performs for Julia's wedding, like, when John Lovitz is performing and then he gets on stage and performs something and he's like,
yeah.
"Oh, I've been listening to too much of The Cure." He wrote that
Oh,
song and
yeah.
the song at the end. He, like, in real life wrote that, and was really singing, which
Oh,
I thought was pretty impressive.
yeah.
Yeah, but he always plays, like, obnoxious parts, and he's
Yeah. Yeah, he's
and he's
so
like,
good.
"Oh, thanks for backing out. That's tripled my bookings." And then Julia's like, "No, I'm not gonna hire
I'll
you
do
now."
a DJ. Yeah. I'll get a DJ.
Yeah, it's kind of a jerk, but
Yeah.
just very insensitive. But yeah, it is a really great movie, and I did not feel too rom-commed, so you know, I really just thought it was funny. I definitely laughed out loud quite a bit, especially at the beginning with Steve Buscemi and, um,
And
just that
his suit was
yes.
so like, it
Oh
was
my
just perfect.
he always kinda wears clothes that are, like, a little too big and, like, it just adds to, for
Yeah.
him, it's
Oh,
just this
and then at the
perfect.
end, I love that it was full circle. Then Steve Buscemi has a wedding band. Like, he is the
Oh, yeah,
band
yeah, yeah,
for
yeah, that is
for
pretty
them.
awesome, like, he's kinda starting his own journey,
But it's
maybe he didn't feel a
yeah,
value in his family, and maybe he's finding it, yeah.
yeah, and it's Adam's, band that he's playing with.
That is
Like, that's
pretty
all of
cool,
his band.
yeah, and it's definitely worth mentioning the I don't remember the character's name, but they're imitating Boy
Boy
George,
George.
but it's Alexis Arquette, which is, just kind of a classic Arquette family, and, he always has lots of
Yeah,
little
lots of
surprises in his
yeah, a lot of famous
movies.
people and, yeah, little surprises throughout.
Yeah, for sure, yeah. It's a good movie. I would definitely I would rewatch parts of that, like, for sure, and just, or just have it on, like, to laugh at because I think it's pretty funny.
Mhm.
Um I do have a challenge question or a whatever fun question to ask.
Okay.
This is gonna be a little weird, but I
Okay.
think it's might be interesting.
Okay.
So, if you were to be in a bartering situation where you're, I don't know, maybe giving therapy sessions or something else, what food would you take in exchange for what food would you
Okay.
take as a barter in exchange?
Oh, so if I were offering services to somebody and they're like,
What would be your food of choice that either they would cook or maybe provide for you, maybe more than 2 meatballs because that's not
"Okay,
really enough. 2 meatballs is nothing.
yeah, I'd like yeah, I don't know. I mean, because I guess it would have to be pocket size, right? Like, so or something that I could just put in my hand or
I mean, I guess it could be something you eat there or that they could, like, pack up or something. Feel comfortable with, like, homemade food from other people? I don't know, like
I don't know. I'm always down for a blueberry muffin. So
oh,
I would you can pay me in blueberry muffins if they're good and sugary on top or crispy on top.
I
I
like
would
that.
yeah,
That's a good idea. Yeah, because most people can, like, make muffins.
muffin. Yeah.
Yeah. It is, I've done it, though. I've definitely done it, for sure. But that's a good one. I like that
Yeah.
because you could
What
have,
would
like, a
you
whole
do?
dozen. It's really
Yeah,
good.
or just even a couple. Hey, here's
Yeah.
2.
No, I really like that. That's a good yeah, because it's very portable and,
I don't know if I wanna get paid in muffins for therapy, but I would take it. I would
yeah, like, if
you know.
you had to and this person just really needed that, that might be
Yeah.
awkward, but,
Yeah, that's
actually
why I
bartering
guess
is allowed in therapy for,
yeah,
like, rural
it is,
regions and stuff, and
especially if you're rural, it's yeah, I mean, why not? I mean, like, if that's all you can offer me.
I've never done that. I don't think I would
No, I
feel
haven't either.
comfortable with
I
it,
would
and
never.
I don't live in a rural region. I know you don't
No,
either.
no.
So we probably would never have to. This is just for fun, I guess, just to
Yeah, just
see
play, just pretend. It
what
doesn't even have
food.
to be therapy, like, if we were doing voice lessons or something, you know?
I don't think I'd feel comfortable doing that for therapy, but, yeah. I didn't think about it. I just kinda thought that would be a fun question that I didn't think about what I would wanna do. No, I wouldn't I think anything you're like, where you're kind of handling a lot. I think, you know, I think I would probably maybe like a pie or something like that, like a nice homemade pie, I think would be good, like a little, kind of
Okay.
like, I don't know, I think that or like something I can't really I just don't really like making, and I don't love this, but I think it would be good if it was, like, somebody just had this down
Mhm.
as, like, maybe some lasagna or something, like, I don't know, or, like,
Oh, I
a
love
nice
lasagna.
baked ziti kinda thing, like, where you can just kind of put the
Mhm.
ingredients in and you don't have to
Yeah.
touch them, and you can just bake them,
Yeah. Big
and
CD is my favorite. Yeah.
yeah. I think that would
Big CD,
be
but that'd be hard if they
good payment.
hopefully they wouldn't plop it in your hand. They would just give you a Pyrex or
I don't
something.
think I'd be like, "Can we just get, like, a plastic bag or something, like a Ziploc bag?"
Yeah.
Like, "Please, anything."
You scoop, plop,
Yeah, and
plop.
he was like, "Okay." Yeah, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, that would
I
be
think
great.
a, like,
Yeah.
nice homemade meal or whatever would be I think
Yeah.
would be really good where you're not touching it too much. That's
Mhm.
my thing,
Yeah.
yeah, not worth it, but
So, big CD pie for you. Big CD or pie.
yeah, something kinda like that I probably don't make too often. I don't ever make pies, but, that just might be like,
Yeah.
if it's a nice Italian grandma or something like that,
Oh,
maybe
yeah.
that would be nice
A good
to
Nona.
add.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that'd be nice, but, um, yeah, so let us know what you think about this. If you want to add anything, if there's something you disagree with,
Mhm.
something you agree with, what your food would be, if
Yeah.
you could, kind of barter services, because we love to hear from you. And don't forget to follow us on socials. We're on everything. The Wicked Psychotherapist or Wicked Psychotherapists. We're also on YouTube if you want to see
Mhm.
our lovely faces. And
Yep.
yeah. So don't forget to leave us a review. Helps us out.
One or a negative, we would be sad.
So we hope you enjoyed this. And don't forget, stay wicked.
And keep your mind well. All right, everyone, have a great week, and we'll talk to you soon. And I think what are we going to be talking about? I think we're going to be talking about Punch Drunk Love, the next one. So
Yep.
good
Another
times.
Adam. Different era.
Yep.
Yep.
I've never seen that one, so that'll be fun.
That'll be a good one. All right, guys. Take care. We'll see you
All
next
right.
time.
Okay. Bye bye.